In problems number 1 and 2, it asks you to find your slope given a table. When you find slope given a table, you use the formula triangle y over triangle x. This means your pattern for the y's is your top number, and my pattern is plus 4, over my pattern that my x's are going by, which is plus 2. So my slope is 4 over 2, or just 2. Okay, you do the same thing for problem number 2. In problems number 3 and 4, it asks you to count the slope using rise over run. You can use the points that were already given to you, and we just need to remember that rise takes you up and down, run takes you left and right. If you go up, it's positive, down it's negative, left is negative, right is positive. It does not matter what point you start from, so I will start from the left point, and I'm going to draw my arrow up, and I go up 3 blocks, which makes that a positive 3. From that arrow, I go right. Right is positive, and I counted 2 blocks. So my slope is 3 over 2. In problem 5 and 6, it asks you to find the slope between 2 points. So that would be using the formula m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. The first thing you want to do is label your points x1, y1, x2, y2. The top of the formula says y2, which is my negative 4, minus y1, which is my 3, over x2, which is negative 2, minus x1, which is 5. When you simplify that top, you get negative 7. When you simplify the bottom, you get a negative 7. And then the last thing you want to do is make sure you simplify your fraction. So that actually simplifies to a positive 1. In problems 7 and 8, it wants you to find the slope by identifying which number is in place for my m in the formula y equals mx plus b. So the number in place of my m is 2 over 3. The number in place of my b is a negative 5. Be careful for number 8. Know that there's an imaginary negative 1 there. In problems number 9 and 10, you want to use the exact same slope-intercept formula, y equals mx plus b. And instead of identifying the numbers, it wants you to write an equation in this form. Well, if I write an equation and I just need to plug in a number for m and b, my y equals drops down, my m is negative 2, my x comes in as well, and my b is a positive 5. In problem number 11, you have to rearrange the equation and write it in slope-intercept form. So I'm going to do number 12 here. So when currently it's in standard form. ax plus by equals c is the form for standard form. In order to rearrange this and put this in slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b, you want to first add or subtract your x term. So I'm going to subtract my 2x because it's currently positive. A negative 3y drops down, and this gets rewritten as negative 2x plus 15. Once you add or subtract your x term, you want to go ahead and divide everything by the number in front of y, and then you simplify, and I get y equals a negative divided by a negative is a positive, and 2 over 3 doesn't simplify. Drop down your x, and that's a positive 15 divided by a negative 3, which gives you a minus 5. In numbers 13 and 14, it wants you to write an equation in point slope form, which is the equation y minus y1 equals m parentheses x minus x1, and then convert to slope-intercept form. So the first thing you want to do is you want to plug your numbers in. This is my x, that's my y, and this is my m. When you plug your ordered pair in, you have to remember that the ordered pair will go in as the opposite sign. So the 4 is going to go in as a minus 4, and the negative 5 is going to go in as a plus 5. So it would look like y plus 5 equals, my m is 1/2, parentheses x, and my x1's a positive 4, so this goes in as a minus 4. Then it wants me to convert it to slope-intercept form, so we have to do some rearranging. The first thing you want to do is distribute. So you drop down the y plus 5 equals 1/2 times x is 1/2 x, 1/2 times negative 4 is a negative 2. And the opposite of adding 5 is subtracting 5, so I'm going to minus 5 on both sides. And I get y equals 1/2 x minus 7.